You are listening to the Backline podcast.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to our podcast. I'm Trey.
I'm Tristan.
So, we're talking today about becoming a three-piece band. I cannot tell you how many times people absolutely love us when we play. And this is not to gloat, but we're going to address this topic right now.
Okay.
People just love us, but then they all of a sudden say, but I'd love to hear you as a three-piece. We're a bass. You need a bass. You need another guitar player. No, we fucking don't.
It doesn't. Yeah.
I got that again tonight. We got offered to play another motorcycle club, and the guy said, "Would you guys take X amount, free drinks, free food?" And I'm like, "Well, that sounds like a good time." And then he goes, "And how about, because I think it'd be really cool, because I think you guys are stellar, but I think it'd be even better," and this just drives me nuts. Even better if you could get a bass player up there and a guitar player. Can you ask some of your friends? And I instantly told him, I got to think on this now.
Yeah. It's a conundrum.
It must just be a visual thing.
It is absolutely a visual thing. What people expect a three-piece. What they don't understand is that it doesn't add anything. It doesn't add anything to the, if we had another member up there.
With what our sound is, you don't need three people.
They just need something to add to the conversation, I feel, because, in all reality, even if we had a bass player, the performance wouldn't change anything.
No.
Because we're running a bass amp. It's feeding you what you need for thud.
Yeah.
You've got all this low end you need.
What would be the point of bringing a bass player up there who doesn't have the same energy as you and I? And this is not
digging on anybody.
I'm not digging on anybody, but you and I are up there sweating balls by the third song.
Right.
And we're taking shirts off and clothes off. Oh, yeah. But I'm just saying, what? I think they just want their, like you said, their input and to feel important.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't understand it.
I can't believe that we're still getting these comments.
No,
We've
I know.
released how many songs,
Right.
albums, EPs, singles, covers, whatever.
Right.
And we've never had a bass player.
I like it, like you said, whatever. I am falling on my words. I think what it is just them trying to add something to the conversation because, from a listener's perspective, I like seeing two-piece bands.
Absolutely.
Because no matter where you go, it doesn't matter what band you see. If it's less than three members, you're always going to see people improvising.
It's interesting as hell.
Yeah, it's always going to be somebody doing something weird in order to fill that sound. If they're not trying to fill that sound or they're not trying to do something weird, it's not going to be a great band because I feel like you're going to be missing pieces and not in a good way.
But most two-piece bands already know they're down.
Right.
So they gotta.
Yeah, you have to compromise.
I've never seen a bad two-piece band. I'll be straight up with you. Unless it's
or not
Jim and
necessarily
Carrie's acoustic night.
Right.
And they're yodeling
There's
on
nothing
stage.
interesting.
You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. If you're looking at a two-piece and they're not doing something that's trying to fill that sound, it's probably
out of necessity.
Yeah, more often than not, that two-piece is going to be boring, and you're gonna have a skewed opinion on them.
But to go back to what I just said, it's
Right.
out of necessity.
Yeah.
We have had bass players approach us, and we've turned them away because
Yeah.
you and I have a 100% transparent chemistry.
Right. And I mean, I think that's part of it too, is I feel like having two people, as an audience member, you have less to concentrate on. You have it's less of a stage show.
So we're on our damn game. Yeah,
Right. But when you're if you think about it in the perspective of let's set a scene really quick, right? You're going to the back bar. It's got a decent pit and a stage, right? And then you have a double stage for the drum kit. If that's filled by two people, you have a lot of void space, right? As an audience member, subconsciously you see that and you're just man, there's something missing here. Mm-hmm. And then, you think you have to tell the band, hey, you guys should get a bass player. Not necessarily because of the sound, right? The sound is fine. Right. Absolutely everything is fine, but the stage presence that you're filling
That's just their default.
Well, I mean, right. As an audience member, you would see that and say, hey, there's something missing here.
Yeah.
They're missing a bass player, and I'm missing that part of it. Albeit, if you just added a body there that was a bass player, They wouldn't have anything to talk
They
about.
wouldn't talk.
So
Yeah.
on the double-edged sword that is people walking up to you and saying, "Hey, you guys could use a bass player." I don't mind people engaging us in that way because it means they were paying attention. But also, I see where they're coming from when they're saying there's not a
Right.
body there.
I just wish with opening their eyes, they would open their ears and hear that we have that low fucking grunt.
No, right.
You know what I
They're
mean?
not missing anything like musically.
You're right.
I mean, you kind of like I know that sounds like hoity-toity. Like it sounds like I'm up on my own ass about that. But like when it comes to our style of music and what we do, you're not missing anything without having a bass player.
Nobody can copy our own style. You
Well,
know what I
right.
mean?
Like,
our
you're
own
not-
is our own. But
Right.
I get what you're saying.
Like you're missing the flavor of a bass player, but like again, like this steak has enough seasoning at this point because we have enough stuff going on. I know I always go to the meat references, but like if you were to throw on like this steak has like a nice like fucking you have the nice smoke from the drums,
Nice
you got
sear.
you got everything, a good sear from the guitar, and it's like medium rare, so it's got that meat flavor still. You know what I mean? It's honest enough to have that meat flavor. If you were to squeeze a lemon on this, that is the bass, it's gonna add a tang that you don't need right now.
Yeah.
It's like this is too honest to need a bass.
But to me, adding that bass player is just taking
Right.
it from medium well to well done. You
it's
know
a
what
little
I
too
mean?
chewy.
It's
No, I
too
get
much.
you. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Is like that lemony tang is not what this needs.
And you know,
This flavor is too aggressive to
Yes.
need something more. Really,
Yes.
it's more of its own thing. You kind of have to respect it for what it is. Now, again, like I said, you can't expect that from every audience member.
No, you can't.
That's why every time you play, you're always gonna hear it. We're complaining about it. It does still happen, but in all reality, we need to take that on the cuff.
Yeah. And in any of these podcasts, we're not complaining.
No.
We are
It's
just
just
talking
talking.
about our experiences.
It's just dumb
and
shit.
Yeah.
It's just spitting mouth and drinking
This is
beer,
just
really.
talking.
Yeah,
But yeah, it just cracks me up because I will have the same people when we're in sound check and you do your drums and then I do my guitar. And then he goes, "Okay, click on your bass." Do it. And then he goes, "Okay, play them together." And I go, "Blah, da, 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 da." And they're like,
Oh,
holy
yeah.
fuck, dude. Tone. You know,
Yeah.
I remember that. I remember those comments.
yeah.
And then I come up to him afterwards and like, "But you need a bass." And
It's
I'm like,
like,
you just fucking
do
told
what?
the whole crowd.
Yeah.
The sound guy just told the whole crowd, "Holy fuck, dude, that's some tone." And
Right.
then all of a sudden I have some Joe Schmo, and I'm not bagging on anybody, but I'm
Right.
saying I got some dude
Not
coming
Joe
up
himself.
going, yeah, I got some dude coming up, "You need some bass to
Right.
add that low end." I'm like, you just heard the sound guy who's seen 1,000 other bands.
Right.
And this is not me being up on my pedestal. I'm
No,
just
no,
saying,
no. But, like,
we've got enough low end.
You just needed to say something.
Yeah,
There's-
we've got drop B tuning, drop A tuning with a
Right.
bass and a fucking cab 4x12, and it's like,
Yeah.
stop talking.
It's,
you know what I mean?
It's funny if like
And I'm not bashing people.
No,
It's
no.
it just cracks me up. To
it's
see.
it's funny if they're coming to us expecting us not to have heard that before,
Yeah,
right? It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's like no way. Right?
Yeah.
We need a bass player? Fuck, man. I know. Oh shit. You're right. You know, it's
Yeah.
like, no, we know.
Yeah.
We know we're two people. We
But
don't need a bass player.
I
That's
wish
not
I
our
could
shtick.
just tell them that we've turned down 3 or 4 offers, people
Right.
to play bass. You know, the thing that comes along with that is you and I have this 100% transparent chemistry.
Right.
We practice when we communicate.
Yep.
All we have to do is what people don't understand, and I just can't stress this enough.
Mm-hmm.
Why we have kept ourselves a 2-piece, regardless of what people think of tone, any of that. Stage presence is all I have to do. If I'm reading the crowd
Right.
and they're not liking something, all I
Yep.
got to do is look at you.
Yep.
You know exactly what I'm thinking.
Right.
Maybe that's the brother in us.
But it's also just
The
two-piece
musician.
lock-in, right?
It's that lock-in.
It's just
and you
we
add
know.
a third person, and then you and I stop.
It's two
and
eye
say,
contact.
Say,
Yeah.
say we get a bass player or another guitar player, and they keep playing.
Yep.
We look like fucking idiots.
Yeah. It's like a 3-sided book at that point.
Yeah.
You know, it's like trying to end a song where you want requires a lot more deliberacy. I feel like with me and you, it can be a little more subtle because it's just the two of us, right? Like we
Right.
know like when there's an eye contact, it's just like, all right, we're here now.
Yeah.
And that's done in seconds versus like with 3 people, you got to make that communication go around. Now you're down like 50 seconds or 30 seconds, you know?
And the nightmare we had with our one bass player, who we won't name, our only,
Yeah.
I guess, I wouldn't even call him official bass player.
But somebody who was part of us for a little bit. Yeah,
Part of us
that
for
was
a little bit.
It kind of makes it hard to come back to it.
Yeah, he was simply a bass player out of necessity. He got in trouble with the law, and we couldn't have been happier that he left the band because of what he was in trouble for. But that's left a bad taste in our mouth as well. Not that's not me saying bass players.
Yeah, not that every bass player, right?
It's just you and I know where we're at in life.
Yeah.
And everything else outside of, not only because we're fucking brothers,
right,
but because we hang out all the time.
Yeah.
We write music together. We're fucking vulnerable to each other, meaning I'm putting my shit out in front of you when I write lyrics.
Yep.
You're telling me, you know.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
total, that's what I say when I mean 100% transparency.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
You add a third element, there's some drawback. It's like, then you have to compromise, because you will straight up be like, Trey, that riff sucks.
Yeah.
Those lyrics need to be changed.
Yep.
A third guy might just be a yes man.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's good.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden,
or a contradictory and right.
Right.
Or
Contrarian. Or like our last bass player, just fucking
a problem.
Not like me because he doesn't like me. You know, whatever.
Right. Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. No, right. And I mean, I think that adds to it too. And also from a reception standpoint, I think when you have two people up there and you have, like,
I think it's fucking interesting.
Well, yeah,
as hell.
you have less to focus on, so you can kind of it's a lot more honest. You know, like when you like not to break down bands that have a lot of members.
No.
You guys are putting on a hell of a performance and whatnot.
To be that coordinated with 5 people is fucking insane.
But you have a lot more to hide behind. You know what I mean? Like if you're
Yeah.
playing in a chamber band, like me and you have played with larger you know, sheet music bands where it's like and whatnot. Like if I make a mistake, fuck it, I'm buried behind 6 other people. It's
we
fine.
can't do that.
Right. When it's 2 people, like if I fuck up, it's usually an eye contact thing. Like me and you will look at each other just like, yeah, I fucked that up. You know, it's just like boom. But it's like that's over with and done. Maybe the band, maybe the whole crowd knows. You know, like if you pop the string, like the song's got to end. Like we can't just let the other guitar player take over.
Serious pressure, but
no, yeah, but it's fun. It kind of adds a high wire to the thing, right?
I think that adds to the adrenaline.
Yeah, I mean, I like it because it's like it's not only that, but it drives like a perfection, and not necessarily perfection, but just more comfort on stage, right? Because if we're not comfortable on stage, people know like right away.
I want to grab these people by the head, and this is me talking.
I want to grab them.
This is me talking metaphorically.
Yeah,
I want to grab these people by the head because of what you just said.
Yeah,
because you listen to our tone, and for 2 people, I'm not bragging. It's fucking huge because we've had how many sound guys and fans tell us that.
We've done suggestions for a while,
and then you go and hear this 5-piece band. And all these guitar players are playing out of a Line 6 pod.
Yeah.
Through the fucking PA. And it is like the thinnest shit
there's
ever.
No tone.
But you know what? They got a goddamn bass player, so their tone's fine. But
right.
Me and you are sitting back here. They're extremely talented, but we're plugging our ears because that fucking tone is just high and just horrendous. Again, it's all in what you like in tone, but I love that meaty, bassy Helmet.
Yeah.
Alice in Chains. Korn style, just like oomph, you know, in their riffs. Slipknot.
It definitely depends on genre too.
Absolutely.
Like,
but the death metal bands we play with, where they got 3 guitar players and they're playing these digital amps, and it's just like this high pitched frequency that you can't even hear.
No, right.
There's so much noise going on.
There's too much stuff going on. There's room noise and whatnot.
You can't hear what's going on.
No, yeah.
It's like how I want to grab these people that say we need 5 people and go, look.
Yeah, this is
what happens, you know? Fuck.
I like to kangaroo on that a little bit. Like, like in the live setting, you can have like 5 people in a band, right? 2 guitar players, and maybe they're really good. Like they're really good guitar players. You can absolutely see them working their ass off, and they're really putting it out there. But really, all you're hearing is the bassist slapping those notes that you can feel in your gut, and it's like all of that gets lost on stage with the guitarist. So like I think that having the 2-piece running the guitar and bass through the one thing at the same time is like the ultimate compromise,
and keeping it simple.
Right?
Like
no, absolutely. And like I said,
we are a very riff-based band.
Yeah, and it's not to dig on anybody's genre and whatnot, but when you have a 5-person band, these guitarists are putting out all they can. The drummer is fancy as fuck, and I'm like bowing down to him because he's doing great. The bass player is over here working notes I didn't know existed, and the singer is,
It's too much.
screaming and spitting vocals
Yeah.
that are really fast. It's just like, well, you're working in a room that is 50 feet of concrete.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
all of it is now just a brown note of noise.
Yeah.
Like, this is just a wall of noise. There's nothing going on here. I can't even get into it.
100%
Because it's
agree.
It's mixed flat. There's nothing else the sound guy can do to make you better than you are, because there's just too much going on and it doesn't work. Something to be said for it's a studio album and it sounds good.
Oh, absolutely.
I love examples of that would be like a Legion and some other speed metal
crazy.
bands where
Yeah.
it sounds really good in the studio, but you take that to any dive bar, any place where it's a smaller
Wow.
venue, it just doesn't work. Which is where I think the 2-piece works a little better, because
Absolutely.
you have no choice but to not be busy.
Yeah, I
You
gotta
have-
be simple because A, I can't play very well.
I don't agree with
and
that.
then B, exactly what Tristan said about
You can't get lost in
You
the
can't-
noise. You don't have a choice but to not get lost in the noise.
man, yeah, this is a good talk. This is a good talk. So, any of you 2-piece bands out there that might be listening, you are not alone. We will rise. No, I'm just kidding. But for real, you can. I mean, Tristan and I had a bass player out of necessity for a while, and then we, for probably a year and a half, 2 years, we worked our ass off to
try to
find
figure it out.
find a bass player, and
Yeah.
then we're like, you know what? Fuck it.
Yeah.
And then we did it, and we adapted, and ever since then, when bass players come up and ask, we're like, absolutely not. So
mean,
it
yeah.
totally 180'd, and that's nothing on the. We've had some super talented
I've
bass
seen
players.
fantastic bass players. It's just that
No.
it doesn't fit our bill at all.
We've had some super fantastic ones ask us to play, and
well, even
we have
on
not
the pickup shows
Yeah.
where you pick up somebody, it's just like, hey, jump on. Like that
and
is,
we have not denied people because of their skill. It's just we want to keep it a 2-piece
yeah,
now.
it's not
So,
Mile 134
yeah,
at that point.
It's just funny because it literally went from Mile 134 needs a bass player to Mile 134 does not want a bass player.
Right.
We are content with where we're at,
Yeah.
with our tone,
Yep.
with our chemistry, with our songs. So if anybody fucking says that again, I'm going to smile and laugh, and I'm just going to say, you're right. But then in the back of my mind, I know what we can do.
Yeah.
So, again, 2-piece bands, kick ass. We are never going to get a third unless it is for, we do a couple of guest shows where we
Pickup
bring
shows
people
and
on.
whatnot. Yeah.
Obviously, we've got a song with our boy Josh on vocals, which was actually fantastic because I didn't have to sing it all, and I could just rock out with Tristan
Right.
and Josh. Josh killed it. It's called Dissociate. Go check it out. Again, thanks for tuning in. This is our podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Backline podcast.